I've been making monsters for over 40 years. I've always enjoyed scaring people, and now I do it professionally. From Queen Aliens to Alice Cooper stage props, we delight in resurrecting the darkness. With our tight-knit team of sculptors, artists, and mechanics, we create your worst nightmares. This is Making Monsters.
Okay, great. We'll come up with something and get back with you soon. Bye.
Was it the Alice Cooper guys?
Yes, it was.
Cool. Do they want us to do something?
They do.
I suppose they need it like in a super hurry?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Once again, there's a lot going on. We've been asked by Alice Cooper to make a huge stage prop fast. At the same time, I have a huge Frightronics order for our biggest customer. And we have the Monsterpalooza show to go to with Jordu in LA. Oh, Marcia, we need to make monsters now.
Yeah, I got a big favor to ask.
What's that?
Can I have vacation?
Sure, in 2012.
Oh, I was thinking like in about 15 minutes.
Oh, no. This is the big Alice Frankenstein week. Alice Cooper is kind of a shock rock and roll guy. He's been going since the 60s. You know, the first time Marcia and I met Alice, we actually had a haunted house we did in '96, and it was very rock and roll, and it was extremely successful. And it turns out he's a super nice guy. He liked the attraction so much that he hired us in 2000 to do the Brutal Planet tour.
What we really need is Feed My Frankenstein. We need a Frankenstein. But we need an Alice Frankenstein.
It's going to be like a giant head of Alice as Frankenstein. That's your challenge. We got 5 days. Well, less the length of this meeting. We have definitely not given the crew enough time to do this. We don't have enough time. I mean, we're going to put everything we've got in this because it was really, I mean, it's more like a 2-week project, but we'll suffer because we haven't done anything for Alice since 2000. I really want to knock this one out of the park.
This Alice project's so excited. We want to make sure it's perfect.
This is something that hasn't been done. It's complex, and we don't usually do this, and it's going to be a real challenge for everybody. But it's going to take a major effort to have it done and perfect. Not done and it's like breaks when we're showing it. That's more stress than I can take right now. When I was a teenager, I was like a really big Alice Cooper fan. I had posters on the wall. I bought snakes. I had silver pants custom sewn by a tailor. And so I was really nerdy about it. All right, so what do you guys got for us? After we got the order to produce this prop for Alice and they approved the idea, we called Brainstorm Studios, and they're a graphics company, but they do so much more, and we wanted them to design the look of it.
Turned Alice Cooper into Frank and Alice.
Holy cow.
So that should be some good sculpting reference.
Yeah.
Our vision is, as Alice starts the song, someone comes in and they put on this lab coat. So, he's looking at the different bodies. Well, there's dead Alice. So he'll drag this body up and he'll put it on this platform and then pull the curtains, and here's this Feed My Frankenstein. Boy, this is good work, man. In addition to the big Frank and Alice, we're going to have this big panel that sits behind him. We're going to have the control box making this happen.
This box here is huge.
Oh, yeah. We start with a two-dimensional drawing, and then we try to visualize that in 3D and figure out just how much time it's going to take and to actually pull it off. Okay. Now we got to just build it. No problem. What makes this Alice Cooper project even more stressful is we also have this huge Frightronics order for Morris Costume. When we do Frightronics, we put together hundreds at a time, which takes a lot of time to do because every one of these is handmade. Our Frightronic line is unusual in that we got the price down to where it's available to the average person. You can put it on your front lawn for haunting, just for fun, and yet it's a real animatronic. Welded metal, strong motor, foam and latex, wig, costume. It's really quite a thing to get for that kind of money. The first year we had Grandma and Psycho Sam, and they made up about 25% of our sales. The next year we added 7 new characters: Bones, Buzz, Creepy Kathy, Grandpa, Rat Trap, Twisted, and Twitch. That year the Frightronics line made up 40% of our sales. Morris is and has been our largest buyer throughout our history. They're one of the largest costume distributors in the world. We sell at least several thousand of these Frightronics to Morris every year. Right now, we're working on an order of 500 Grandmas and Grandpas. Our most popular Frightronic is Grandma. She is a crazy old lady rocking in her chair.
You're in big trouble. No cookies for you.
You know, I can do things in sequence. I do all the feet at the same time, all the hands at the same time, head at the same time, and yeah, sometimes you talk to them. Not as much as Janine talks to stuff.
I usually talk to the monsters because I'm alone working.
Must have been hot on the trip over.
And they don't talk back. I'm Janine Johnson, and I do customer service. I do everything from answer phones, take orders, I ship all the orders. I do work in production some. One of the things I do in productions is trim bodies. Right now I'm trimming Grandpa for the big Morris order. Meet Grandpa. Okay.
Hey, Ryan.
Oh, nightmare, what?
Grandma's got a problem. Why don't you look at those hands carefully? Hey!
I put 2 right hands onto Grandma. That's funny, because I was missing one down there.
That's probably why. Thank you, Ryan. Grandma thanks you. To paint the eyes, I airbrush them with white and blue and black, and then we actually take the backside of a paintbrush to dot the eyeball and then add red veins with a pen. It's all little steps, little tricks. This is just clear 5-minute epoxy, and it goes on and gives the eyes a glass-like sheen. We really like to have guest sculptors come to Distortions. They bring a little different vibe.
Well, it looks as if they're getting that forklift all set up and they're gonna pull that tree on down.
We wanted to have Jordu sculpt this giant Frank and Alice, but now he's a big shot Hollywood sculptor. He is off in France teaching a class. So Jordu's suggestion was to hire Mikey Rotella. Great seeing you.
Everybody?
We got a seat here for you. Mike Rotella, who we like to call Mikey, is this really tough-looking guy that you wouldn't want to meet in an alley, but he's extremely talented. He's worked on a lot of major motion pictures, and we just love to work with him. That's your challenge, to make Alice look like he's Frankenstein.
Any chance to sculpt a big monster, I'm all about it. I have 2 days to complete this enormous task.
We're talking about a huge head.
2 days is pretty much insane, but Alice needs his friggin' Frankenstein head, so.
Mona brought up some clay, looks like, and we should be good to go.
Oh, no.
Oh, willow.
Not willow clay.
Oh.
I find out that we don't have wet clay, which is primarily what we use at Distortions to do all this stuff. But wet clay is very difficult to find in Greeley, Colorado. It's not as accessible as it is in LA. So Ed's second best choice is this stuff called willow clay, which is garbage. Ed, this is the worst.
I know that. Listen, I know that. It's not the best, but maybe we can bulk it out and put wet on the top if we don't have enough.
Do we have wet at all?
Well, I hope so. I think so. I'll check.
We need wet.
Let me go check with Mondo, and maybe it's not a tragedy. Let me check.
And I need that armature. And good clay. And a week. With a week, it would still be kind of a tight crunch for something this big. Pretty nervous about it.
Before Mikey starts on Frank and Alice, the armature needs to be built. An armature is the metal framework on which the sculpture is molded with clay.
Mike built the armature for me because they have to stick to some pretty, strict guidelines because it's an animatronic and puppet, so everything has to fit over this inner working skeleton that they've already designed. Here we go. All right. Is this thing like burning hot still?
Yeah?
Oh, it is a little warm.
All you artists are the same. You gotta burn your fingers.
I'm just worried about heating up this willow clay so it all falls apart on me.
We can go out and get you some mud.
Mud, that might work. It's the same thing, actually. Willow clay and mud. Willow clay doesn't have the glycerin in it like the wet clay does. You can't get detail on it. It dries quicker, but it's literally like mud. We only have a few boxes of this wet clay, and I need, hundreds of pounds of it. Like Greeley, it's like cow pies, awesome. But wet clay, no. Nowhere. Our way that we worked around it was I just tried to bulk out most of the forms with the willow clay and then kind of cover it in kind of a sheet of wet and use that for detail and stuff. I'm still in real early phase of blocking everything out. Now I'm just kind of going through and taking rough areas down and throwing some wet clay on here on top of the willow clay, which will hold the detail better.
That's good. You know, it looks almost exactly like Alice Cooper.
I know, right? It's crazy.
We are behind schedule, but I know you'll catch up by midnight. As far as giving Mikey sufficient time to do this, no. We are not giving him sufficient time to do it. We're going to have a whip, maybe electricity. I don't know what it's going to take, but we're going to have to work that poor man hard. So while Mikey works on the Frank and Alice head, our mechanic Mike is busy building this huge reveal box. The reveal box is this giant box that the actor that plays the Frank and Alice rides onto stage in, and it hides him until he comes out. In the haunt business, weight, size, that's not an issue. Take it off a big truck and load it in. In the rock world, that's an issue. Every day this has to be loaded and unloaded and put up and taken down. So ease of setup, weight, and size become critical.
This is supposed to be 10 feet tall, 4 feet wide, 4 feet deep. Then it's all supposed to fold down into 12 inches by 5 feet tall, 4 feet wide. This is the biggest piece we've ever tried to fold down.
Not looking good. You sure we can't make this work? We've cut an inch off. Shouldn't it be just perfect?
Yeah, but when you throw that hinge on there, it throws it another half an inch off. Yeah.
When Mike and Ed were figuring out dimensions, evidently they didn't take into consideration the hinges.
We forgot that when you hinge something where it needs to be, it takes more than 2 inches, and so it's like, oh no. I mean, that was very troubling because this has to fold small.
Right now, we got this gap.
Yeah.
Right.
If I close that gap, then we're not going to close back here. We're not used to making a jigsaw puzzle.
We gotta have this done by the end of the day. Remember our meeting. Work harder.
This is just going to be a nightmare start to finish. It ain't going to matter.
Oh.
This is bad.
We just got an order from Alice Cooper to develop a Frankenstein version of him for his stage show. We're under a tight deadline, and we already have a major problem.
I had a pretty short period of time to start off on the first day of the sculpture. So I busted out as much as I could, and I was kind of confident with the time frame I had, and I was like, I think I might be able to do this.
Oh.
I walk in the next morning, and there's a huge crack, like a Grand Canyon in the side of this head. This is bad. So I was freaking out. Ed's gonna be pretty pissed. Yeah, this is not good. This is exactly the last thing we want to happen. So I'm gonna go inform the man. He's in the other room, assuming everything's fine, and I have to go tell him, is he gonna get pissed at me? Is this gonna really screw everything up? Are we gonna be able to fix this? Come check this out, a little surprise for you.
Surprise?
It's not good.
I like surprises. What do you mean it's not good?
We got some crackages.
Holy Toledo. Gee, I wonder if it's the kind of clay.
The willow, air and moisture will kind of find its way through the cracks inside this clay that hasn't really grasped onto itself too well. And then the weight of everything just finds all that and just separates it. So it just split off and just ruined my whole day.
I think